You're still watching Good Morning Africa. Thank you very much for joining me this morning. Please remember that if you'd like to send us an email, it's very easy. You can send that to gma@planetimage.co.za. That is, if you've got questions, queries, opinions, anything that you'd like to share with us, birthday messages, greetings in your language, do send those to gma@planetimage.co.za. Now, do you want to know more about computer maintenance? Well, I suggest you stay tuned, as up next we are going technology, and Gwyneth speaks to Austin Oshodi about maintaining your PCs.
Thank you so much, Sheila. Good morning and welcome to Going Technology here on Good Morning Africa, the biggest, brightest breakfast show that helps you start your day right and takes you through all the way. I am Gwyneth and I'm honored to be with someone special here. He is an IT consultant and he's Austin Oshodi. Good morning, Austin. Good morning. And welcome to Good Morning Africa.
It's a pleasure.
We'll be discussing a very interesting topic today, and it's maintaining your computer. So many people, they just buy a computer and they install it and they start to use it. But how about maintenance? Can you just talk to a layman? There's lots of people watching and they're like, how do I maintain my computer?
Well, first and foremost, any person that buys a computer, be it, because you have different operating systems, the latest one is Windows 7. The first thing is you noticed when you've bought that computer, everything runs so quickly because it's not been overloaded with a lot of things on it. But as time goes on and you've used it and used it and used it, maybe for 8 months, 9 months, or probably a year, then you start noticing that when you boot up, it takes time before you can get into the actual computer. And I'm sure
it takes time to boot.
It's happened to a lot of people.
It starts to slow down.
It does slow down. And the reason why this happens is that because of the advancement of technology, you have a lot of USB ports and things like that. Most people download a lot of music, put music on their computer, and then also transfer this music to their iPods and things like that. Also, they download all different kinds of software, forget that software when they don't want to use it, download another, and it builds up and builds up. And then at the same time, people that browse heavily or heavy users in regards to the internet, when you browse the internet, you have things like cookies, caches and things like that, which reside in certain folders. And if you don't clean these things up, it will cause kind of system deprivation or slow a lot of things down. But what the common layman can do when you experience things like this is, one, Windows or any other application has things like utilities, which they call, like you can do a defragmentation. Defragmentation is when you actually sandwich or compress the applications you have. Maybe it's, let's give a good example. If it's like maybe 10 gig, you can compress it to make it 1 gig. The more you compress a lot of the applications you have, the faster your system becomes. Also, what you can also do is, if you're not someone that wants to lose a lot of documents and things like that, you can increase the memory size of your computer, because most of the time when it comes, you buy a computer, maybe it comes with 300 and something gig or something like that. These days you can also increase that to increase the speed. But one thing you should do also, as you keep on downloading things, your registry, because the registry is a place which keeps a record of what you've downloaded, of what you've put on the computer. The more you keep on downloading things, the more you keep on putting new software, it increases. There are tools that you can use. It's just
like unpacking things in a room, but you have to expand the room.
Exactly. That's a good analogy. So it's like trying to give more room, and maybe you have a 1-bedroom and then you decide, let me put an extra room so that I can have more space to move around in the house.
Move stuff around.
So there are tools that you can also use. If your registry is building up, you can, there are tools that you can download from the internet if you Google it. For instance, a good example is Registry Cleaner. Registry Cleaner, if you Google it, is a tool. I think also you can have, there are some free downloads. I'm not too sure. I don't want to give incorrect information, but you can check that on Google's. And these actually clean up your registry for unwanted data or unwanted applications and things like that. The next thing you can also do is to flush out, like I said, the music you have. If you're someone that you're heavily into music and you just want to keep it, you can actually buy external hard drives, put those things on it and all that kind of thing. So if you do want to transfer things from your iPod, you can easily bang that in and transfer that rather than letting it reside on your computer, because
people have to move information
around, because if you don't do that, you'll notice that it will take probably maybe 30 minutes as you're trying to boot up. In regards,
such a long time.
Such a long time, and when you first bought that computer, maybe it takes a matter of minutes before things, are up and running. And then, what I would also advise is put antivirus software, or spyware software, which checks these things, which also tells you when you've reached a certain capacity, which also tells you when to clean up your registry. Or sometimes these things can also clean up or do the defragmentation automatically.
It works like a body system.
Exactly. It's just like when you've been working for 8 hours and you don't sleep. They say it's best for you to have 6 hours sleep. And can you imagine when you have 1 or 2 hours sleep, what happens? You slow down in speech and you start dozing off. That's the same thing when you overload your computer as well. It starts slowing down and almost wants to doze off as well.
Like a person.
Exactly.
So Austin, most people would prefer, when you talk about Windows, the Windows, and there's a Windows XP, Windows Vista. Some people say Vista is not so good. They prefer the XP. Why?
Well,
they say the Vista, within a short time, the computer is going to crash.
Okay, well, when an application first comes out, there will be bugs, any application, and even when it's deployed. And when XP, before it came out, the operating system before XP had its bugs, and XP came out to correct those anomalies. Likewise, Vista, when it came out, it had its own bugs. We call them those bugs when you start experiencing all kinds of things. Windows 7, if you look at it, the operating system, it's almost the same. But Windows 7 came out in order to correct those things in Vista at the same time. So it happens, in any application, it comes out. Developers, even no matter how many times you test it, there are some things that the user out there would start experiencing that probably the developer, when this thing was configured, didn't start experiencing it. But the only thing is that in order to make it better, it has to go to the layman, and it's the feedback you get from the layman that is going to make it better.
Yes.
So I mean, that's the reason why you have Vista and then Windows 7 coming out to correct those anomalies in Vista.
And what is the average lifespan of a computer?
Well, that is a very, very tricky question, I would say, because it depends on what you use your computer for. For
because
instance,
some people could have a computer that is as old as 8 to 10 years. Are you trying to say that they can just change the software? That's all they need to do?
If you've had a computer for 8 to 10 years, then you would probably need to do what they would call, a reformatting of your hardware, and when you do that reformatting of your hardware, then you put new operating system on it and things like that to make it faster. Because what you had 8 years ago, there are other faster things now that probably might not be compatible with what you've had 8 years ago. But like I said, it's a tricky question because it depends on what you use your computer for. I'm an IT consultant. For instance, if you open my laptop, there are a lot of applications on it. Heavy stuff. So I need something big. And for someone like me, I don't think I'm going to use one laptop for 8 years because I'm sure what I'll put on that laptop or impregnate that laptop with, let me use that word, will probably make it explode. So as new laptops come out with bigger...
A person needs to upgrade.
Exactly. Yes. But for someone who just uses it to write little things and everything like that, it's probably
like
going to...
for Word documents.
Exactly. It's probably going to have a longer lifespan at the end of the day, provided they take the advice and, you know, make sure that they... clean it up and things like that, and avoid slowness and things like that. I guess it will last longer.
Oh, our time is well spent. So how can people contact you? Probably they need more information. They enjoyed our chat today.
Well, I will give two numbers. I'm here doing some consultancy work in South Africa, though I'm based in the UK, but you can still get me in South Africa. My number in South Africa is 002778 530 4126. I'll repeat that, 002778 530 4126. And my UK number is 0044 7956 236 466. That's 0044 7956 236 466. And if you can't call me, you can also email me. My email is ostino_o@yahoo.com. I'll repeat that, ostino_o@yahoo.com.
Thank you so much, Austin, for your time.
Pleasure.
Thank you for coming on Good Morning
Thank
Africa.
you very much.
We've been chatting with Austin Oshodi, the IT consultant, and he's been telling us more about how to maintain your computers. I hope you took them some notes, because actually I've got my notes here and I'm going to read through it and make sure I remind myself of everything that Austin has discussed with us today. Well, our time is well spent, and I'm trying to say, and I want to say to you, goodbye, have a beautiful day, and over to Sheila.
Well, we've come to the end of Good Morning Africa on this beautiful Wednesday morning. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much to everybody that participated in this edition. And of course, to my lovely crewmen, thank you very much for your assistance and your cooperation, of course. Well, now, remember to send us your messages to gma@planetimage.co.za. If you have a loved one, a friend, anybody, you name it, that is celebrating a birthday, if you have questions, if you'd like to know more about the interviews that we've played for you this morning, just send it to gma@planetimage.co.za. Once again, thank you for joining me this morning. I look forward to being with you again tomorrow, same time, same place. So from me, Shayla, is ciao, ciao.